of Woodland Meadows. And this webinar is being recorded for convenience for those of us or for those that can't make it this evening. So without further ado, let's let everyone introduce themselves. It'll be, I can go according to my screen. Mrs. Hervey, why don't you get us started?
Hi, I'm Karen Hervey, one of the district nurses with Saline Area Schools. Welcome, everyone.
Mr. Musson.
Hi, I'm Kevin Musson, the Director of Special Education for Saline Area Schools.
Ms. Rucky.
Hi, I'm Andy Rucky. I am the district office coordinator and I oversee enrollment.
Ms. Hughes.
Good evening. My name is Kenyatta Hughes. I am the principal at Pleasant Ridge Elementary.
Mr. Puffer.
Hi, my name is Brian Puffer. I'm the community education director.
Mr. Ball.
Hi there, my name is Nick Ball and I teach kindergarten at Woodland Meadows.
Ms. Horvath.
Hi, my name is Stacy Horvath and I'm a proud kindergarten teacher at Harvest Elementary.
Ms. Davis.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kara Davis. I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning in Saline.
Ms. Mulcare.
Hi, I'm Tracy Mulcare. I am the Transportation Manager for Saline Schools.
Ms. Rumspa.
I'm Stacy Rumsa. I am the executive director for the Foundation for Saline Area Schools.
Ms. Austin.
Hi, my name is Sarah Austin, and I love teaching Young Fives at Pleasant Ridge.
Ms. Reynolds. Oh, you are muted. Those familiar Zoom words.
Sorry about that. My name is Katie Reynolds, and I am the PTA Vice President at Harvest Elementary.
Thank you. Ms. Marion.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Marion, and I am one of the kindergarten teachers at Pleasant Ridge.
Ms. Sickler.
Hi, Emily Sickler. I am the principal at Harvest Elementary School.
Ms. Schmidt.
Hi, I'm Robin Schmidt. I am the IT lead for the district.
Mr. Clary.
My name is Rex Clary. I am the Executive Director of Operations.
And on this call, we also have Ms. Brittenell. Is going to be behind the scenes, and Mr. Grossman as well with technology. So thank you all for being here on the panel this evening, and thank you all for attending. We have about 103 attendees this evening, so very exciting. So without further ado, we'll get to our presentation.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Laura. And I know I can speak for all three of us, Kenyatta at Pleasant Ridge and Laura at Woodland Meadows and myself at Harvest. And we are just so blessed that we get to start the journey at school, that we know how important this job is, that we get to work side by side with all of the families and begin this work. We know how important it is that we get to shoulder with you and to start that work. And so that is why we start here and give you all of this information. And we know that it is a really important big job. And so that's why we're going to give you a ton of information right now. And then we will come back to it again and again. And so that is the work that we will get started here. Kenyatta, do you want to share anything else with that?
Nope. Welcome, everyone. I'm happy to have you here.
Laura?
The same. So excited to be here.
I know if you just want to go to the next slide, you might be thinking, some of you might be like, oh yeah, I know what school we're going to, but some of you might say the very first question is, what school do we go to? And the caveat is that different schools that changes from time to time, but for the most part, our schools are based on your street address. And if you are new, this might be your very first child that starts school, you can take a look based on our street guide. So if you are not quite sure at what school your child may be attending, we do have 3 elementary schools, as we said before. And if you go to the Saline Schools website and just go through that departments and buildings and grounds, And then to transportation, we do have a street guide. If you look at this presentation afterwards, it's also hyperlinked there, and that would let you know exactly what building based on your street that you'll attend. So that is often a question that we get asked, is what school do we go to? And that would let you know.
So what are the differences and similarities between Young Fives and kindergarten program? Well, here are some of the similarities, and Mrs. Hughes will talk about some of the differences. And so some of the things that are the same are students can independently use the restroom. Getting to school will be the same. Either you are dropping off your child or that your student is taking the bus. The building schedule is the same. We start at 8:51 and we end at 3:44. Safety and security is the same. We are in the same building, so all of the same protocols, safety drills, etc., are all the same. Lunch and food service. There is a specials rotation of innovation lab and music, PE, and art. PE being physical education. There are lots of acronyms in education for those of you who are starting this journey. So physical education, and then recess. Our students all have a recess.
And when speaking of the differences, a lot of what happens in Young Fives is a huge focus on developing social skills. A lot of those basic skills, such as learning to cut accurately, using scissors, interacting with peers, expressing emotions, feelings, and needs appropriately. There is a link to our curriculum. You can also access curriculum expectations at our district's website. It's full of great information that if you have time to kind of take a deep dive into, there's a good place that you can start. We also have more rest and playtime built into the program of Young Fives. And when we say Young Fives is less rigorous, not taking away the fact that we still incorporate lots of math, English language arts, social studies, and science, just with less rigor.
So how do we know who is eligible for Young Fives? Students who will turn 5 between August 1st and December 1st are eligible, and families that are uncertain about the best fit between Young Fives and kindergarten may choose to sign up for the Young Fives screening.
The Young Fives screening process. Some of you may be thinking to yourselves, what is the purpose of this screening? The purpose is to access both academic and social emotional readiness. We use a screener called the Brigance tool that asks both student and family members a set of simple questions to access their readiness. District officials, such as administrators and staff, will assess the results and provide a recommendation for each child. We may have a number of students who go through the Young Fives screening process and demonstrate skills that would suggest that they are definitely ready for being in a kindergarten classroom. Also, during this time of the screening, there is hearing and vision screening available to our families as well. Some important dates to note. This year, the Young Fives screening will take place at Liberty School on the following dates: Monday, May 8th from 12 to 4, Thursday, May 11th from 9 to 12, and Monday, May 22nd from 2 to 6. You will be sent a link to register for the Young Fives screening once you have completed the district enrollment process.
And a little bit later on, Mandy Rucky, who does our district enrollment, is going to go over some of that enrollment pieces. Here this year, we offer 3 sections of Young Fives, one in each building, and that is going to be the same for the 23-24 school year. And just like what Kenyatta was sharing about Young Fives and all the components of what makes that so important is why we like to keep our Young Fives class size below 20 students. so that we can really focus on all of those pieces for building that really strong foundational skill is why we keep those class sizes really small below those 20 students. So that is our goal for that 23-24 school year as well.
Kindergarten and Young Fives orientation in the first day of school. So on May of this year, we will have some elementary walkthroughs in all 3 buildings taking place from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And this is where we'll have an opportunity to invite our families into our buildings, to tour our buildings, to help with the transition of the 2023-2024 school year. Some important dates to kind of make sure that you are aware of. For those of you that are attending Woodland Meadows, their elementary walkthrough will take place on May 10th. For those attending Pleasant Ridge, the walkthrough will be on May 17th. And for those of you that are attending Harvest, the walkthrough will be on May 24th. Important dates to note. Also, as we think about kicking off the first day of school on Monday, August 28th, 2023, kindergarten and Young Fives orientation will be a little bit different than how our 1st through 3rd graders start their school year. So on August 28th, your child along with some family members will attend for a 45-minute orientation. There will be no busing on this day for kindergarten or Young Five students. To have more information, please click that link so you can understand a little bit more. I will also make you aware that all 3 buildings usually send out some notifications to all families prior to August 28th, making you aware of what part of the day you are to attend, because we usually break those days up into AM and PM times. And so you should look for that notification. Usually we send it electronically to your direct emails that is listed on file. On Tuesday, August 29th, this will be your students' first full official day of school for kindergarten and Young Fives.
Thank you, Mrs. Hughes. And one point is that the walkthroughs are both for students and for families and for the adults. And so we can't wait to see your kids. And so we would ask that you bring them to the walkthroughs if they are available that evening. So what is the purpose of the kindergarten screening? The purpose of the screening is to offer a short 15-minute, maybe 20-minute session with a kindergarten teacher in order to get a sense of your child's academic and social emotional skills. Our goal is always to create as balanced classrooms as we can. And so by having you come in and having your child take this assessment, it gives us an idea of how we can balance our classrooms. And hearing and vision screening is also available on these days. All students are being asked to come in for a screening, even if they have attended the Young Fives program. If the days for the screening at your home building do not work for you, please, you are more than welcome to sign up at another building. And so you can see at Harvest, the screening dates are going to be July 31st and August 1st. At Pleasant Ridge, August 1st and August 2nd. And then at Woodland, July 31st and August 2nd. And we will have times a little bit later on and get those times out to you. And once you've completed registration, there's a screening sign up there for you as well. And that will include the times on it.
At this time, I would like to proudly introduce some of my wonderful staff at Pleasant Ridge Elementary. If you look at my kindergarten team, it is comprised of Joanne Twerk, Chandra Batterson, Catherine Wallavan, Helen Rodriguez, and Julie Marion there in the middle. Also, we have Sarah Austin as our Young Fives teacher at Pleasant Ridge Elementary.
And here is the Harvest team, and Stacy Horvath is going to introduce them. Stacy?
Yes, thank you, Emily. We have a staff of 5 kindergarten teachers and 1 young 5s teacher. From left to right are Nancy Zabrowski, Jen Strip, myself, Stacy Horvath, Sarah Lindsay, and Macy German. And then our young 5s teacher is Karen Lavery.
And at Woodland Meadows, Nick Ball will introduce them, and some of their pictures aren't working.
If you click, I think the rest will show up. They should at least. There they are.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
amazing.
Thank you, Laura. All right. So at Woodland, we have 5 kindergarten teachers currently. They are Alicia Lovejoy, Kara Gall, Melissa Waltz, Trisha Raft, and myself. And then April Rauscher teaches young 5s.
Hi there. So my name again is Stacy Rumsa with the Foundation for Saline Area Schools. And as I had mentioned, I'm the new executive director as of August. I am a Saline mom of 2 kids. We actually moved to Saline specifically for the school systems just in time for my daughter to start kindergarten. And just to give you a little bit more background, she is now a senior, and I have a son that's a sophomore at the high school. And I can't say enough wonderful things about Saline area schools. I actually have spent my last 10 years before this position at Harvest Elementary. So I can't say enough wonderful things. The foundation works very closely with the school system. And so just to give you a little bit of background on the Foundation for Saline Area Schools, and I have actually been a volunteer with this group for almost 10 years now. The Foundation for Saline Area Schools is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. It was started back in 1987 when some community members noticed that teacher budgets were tight and decided to jump in and help and raise some money. The foundation provides funding to support both creative and innovative initiatives that really go above and beyond the curriculum in our classrooms. We award teaching grants, building grants, district, partnership, and student-led grants throughout the district. And since 1987, we've awarded $1.5 million in grant funding. This past first half of this school year, we approved $100,000 to go towards grant funding for the entire school year. Just to give you some examples, because a lot of people, that are new into the school system in the district aren't exactly familiar with some of the things we do, but some of the grants that we have awarded have been to the elementary schools and young 5s, all the elementary schools. We've provided games which focus on collaboration, cooperation, and communication in iLab, which is one of the specials that your kids will attend in the elementary school. And another thing that we did was we helped fund part of the all-inclusive playground that was just finished at Pleasant Ridge. We've also done decodable books for the elementary schools. And then past that, just so that you have a better understanding, we also have provided heritage with different grants. One was providing iPads to a classroom, which helped the students communicate with a student that had severe communication deficits, and they use this during recess and play times. Another example of a grant was at the middle school, which was for a club called Girls Who Code, which provided learning resources to benefit this program. And then even at the high school level, recently we just provided 2 new resin 3D printers to expand the printing program at the high school. And these are just a drop in the bucket of the amount of grants that we have funded. And you can actually check out our website. We have a whole page that is dedicated to what grants have been funded in the past. It goes along with the compass. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Thank you, Mrs. Rumspa. We're going to move to student health.
Hi, everyone. Welcome again to both our new parents and any veteran parents we have out there. Like I said, my name is Karen Hervey, one of the proud district nurses serving Saline area schools. I also oversee nursing services for our district. We're very fortunate here in Saline to have 2 full-time nurses. Our other nurse, Wendy Portwood, could not join us this evening, but just wanted to mention her, my awesome partner. She covers mostly Harvest in the high school. I cover mostly Pleasant Ridge, Woodland Meadows, the middle school, and our programs at Liberty. But we both cover the whole district and we're available to all schools during the school day. Our contact information is listed here. Don't hesitate to reach out to either of us at any time. So just briefly, what do school nurses do? We are members of your student school team, here to support them, help them stay healthy at school. Of course, we respond as needed in the event of severe illness, injury, or any emergencies that happen during the school day. In addition, and very importantly, we also provide case management and care coordination services for our students who have those chronic medical conditions such as diabetes, seizure disorders, asthma, food allergies, cardiac conditions, and really any medical condition. So if your student has a chronic medical condition, or if they will need daily medication at school, we encourage you to reach out to one of us prior to the start of school. The earlier, the better. That way we can work together with you and your student's medical provider to determine what their needs will be during the school day so that we can be, good to go on that first day of school. In addition, we also provide communicable disease management, which includes disease surveillance, collaboration with the local health department, communicating disease outbreaks and whatnot to parents as well. So once again, our contact information is there. It's also available, moving down to that next bullet point, at the district health services webpage. So I encourage you to check that out. It shows you how to get there. Go to district resources and then health services. Lots of important information, including forms needed for the school setting, our medication policy, and other helpful information. Moving down in terms of immunizations, there are required vaccinations for entry into school for both young fives and incoming kindergartners. And we do require proof of vaccination at registration. And our district secretary, Mandy Ruckey, will talk a little bit about that, how to upload that information later in the presentation. But in terms of what's required for school, there is a link on the District Health Services webpage. But really, I encourage you to contact your child's primary care provider to determine what they will need for school. They're the experts in your child's vaccine status and very familiar what's required for the school setting. I would encourage you to reach out sooner rather than later. Appointments get super busy in the summer. Everyone's trying to scramble to get in for those vaccines. So I would start working on that right now. There is a waiver option in rare situations, a medical contraindication allowance. If you want information on either of those, please contact one of us, Wendy or me, and we can walk you through that process. And then real quick, just wanted to mention about hearing and vision under the Michigan Public Health Code and the revised school code. Hearing and vision screening is required for all incoming young 5 and kindergarten students. Screenings must be completed within 6 months of the start of school. That hearing screening can be done by your child's pediatrician or primary care provider. However, the vision screening must be done by the health department or a licensed eye care practitioner. It's not that vision screening that's done at your child's well visit, but we want to help you with that piece. So what we usually do is we work with the health department, the Washtenaw County Health Department, to come in during those screenings that were mentioned earlier, to make it convenient to have your child screened when you're coming here anyway for one of those young 5 or kindergarten screenings. So once again, most importantly, thank you for your time. Don't hesitate to reach out. We're part of your team and we're here for you. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Kevin Musson again, Director of Special Education. I just want to let you know a little bit about our office and the supports that we provide. One of the first things that we provide is response to intervention, and I want to talk a little bit about that. It's very important that everybody realize that we first want to trial various different interventions before ever moving to special education evaluations. But if a student was to qualify for special education per our Michigan administrative rules for special education, we would be providing and looking at these various different services such as speech and language, social work, occupational therapy, physical therapy, teacher consultant support, or resource room support. My contact information is also there at the bottom. We're always very available for phone calls to help you through these times if you're worried about your child struggling with education. So don't ever hesitate to reach out. That's always a good starting point. But again, we like to put interventions in place to make sure that before we move directly into special education evaluations. Thank you.
I'm happy to talk about English learner supports as a former EL coordinator. So Saline Area Schools does offer an English learner program, a fully staffed program that's offered through the schools. And so if you have a student who English is not their primary language, then we could, with parent permission, and test for EL support. We have either small group or individual supports that are offered to our students. The curriculums that are used are Grape Seed and Young Fives and Kindergarten curriculum by the classroom teacher. And for more information, Katie O'Keefe is the contact, so she can be reached by email at o'keefek@salineschools.org.
And now we will hear from the Transportation Department.
Hi again, my name is Tracy Mulcair. I am the Transportation Manager. I introduced myself earlier. Anna, if you could click on the presentation, I'm not sure I have that ability. Thank you. I'm just going to go over a few slides here. We always get questions. We know you have a lot of questions. So some of those frequently asked questions I'll go over. If you don't see your question answered, feel free to chat in the Q&A section of the webinar, or feel free to reach out to us using our contact information. Elementary boundaries was already discussed, so I think I'm going to go to the next slide. And that's about safety. Our bus drivers are passionate about school bus safety. And it's because of that we ask you to please always park in the designated parking areas, never in the bus loops. Never walk or encourage your students to walk between the buses at the schools. Always be at the stop 5 minutes early. Please meet your student at the end of the day at the bus stop if they're in Young 5, kindergarten, or in first grade. And most importantly, you're going to hear about Safety Town from Community Education. We love Safety Town. It gives students a really good amount of information about school bus safety. The biggest question we get is about routes. We use an app. It's called Ride 360. It's on our webpage. There's information about how to download it, how to use it. The most important thing you need to know is that you'll need your student's ID number that they'll be assigned after they get registered. And it'll be available about a week before school starts. That is because we spend all summer working on creating those routes, and we definitely don't want to give you information that's going to continue to change. So for that reason, I know everybody's anxious to know who their driver is, what bus number they're going to be on, where their stop's going to be, what time it's going to be. But unfortunately, we have to spend a lot of time getting that set up for you. So if you want to start helping us by getting that app downloaded in the beginning of August, you'll be ready to go when we send that email that says, we're ready. Go ahead and get on Ride 360 and check out your bus information. A few things that we think are important that we share with you as you make your plans for back to school in regards to busing. We only provide busing for students who are eligible for buses to and from the stop that's assigned for their home registered address. We don't provide busing for daycare. We don't provide busing for going home with friends, going to grandma's house or relatives' home. And we want you to know that going in so that you aren't surprised when we start school. Finally, we're hiring. We need more bus drivers and we think it's a pretty great job. We're also looking for bus monitors. Summer's a great time to train and a great way to be involved at the school level with your child. A few things, the bus drivers always follow the school calendar, so you'd have the same days off. You can bring your school age children on the bus with you, and you have paid holidays, paid time off, and even get benefits with as few as 20 hours a week. If you're not sure and you maybe want to learn a little bit more, please do reach out to us. We can talk and give you any information you might like to know. That's all I've got. We look forward to seeing you at our welcome back nights in May. The transportation department will be there. We will let you bring your child on a bus, check it out. We'll also have Buster, our talking remote controlled school bus, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mulcair, and we'll hear from Larry DeAndrea in food service.
Hello, I'm Larry DeAndrea. I am the Director of Food Service for the school district. I am just going to tell you quickly about the website and things that will help you when school starts next year. So all information about what's going on in food service can be found on the Saline Schools website under the food service tab. You can see the menus of what's for breakfast and what's for lunch, as well as fill out any free and reduced applications or add money to a student's lunch account. It is the best way to find out what's going on. We also update the menu with special events that are happening in the cafeterias. So you'll be able to know when those things are happening, like King Pancake Day or the different discovery kitchens and things we do. And I know it can be nerve-wracking when you send your kids to school and you wonder if they're going to have someone to help them get lunch ready and stuff like that. And we have many people in the cafeteria to help them open items, so make sure that they have enough time to eat and to make sure that they get a good full lunch, so you don't have to worry about any of that. If you have questions, you can reach me by phone or email or using the website for the Let's Talk function. And that was all I want.
Thank you, Larry. I'm Robin from Technology, and at Saline Schools, we are hands-on with our technology here. We just want to let you know that starting with the young 5 and kindergarten students, they're equipped right in the classrooms with a one-to-one iPad. They're the Generation 9 iPads, brand new this year. They also use headphones in the classrooms. Students need to bring their own headphones for their choice and also for health reasons. For digital citizenship in the district, we introduce it in Media Center, which is a class that they'll be in. The Media Center curriculum has a digital citizenship component to it. It is also supported by classroom teachers. For computer science, the introductions are made in Media and Innovation Lab classes. During the school years, the learning management system that Saline area schools use for young 5s and kindergartners is Seesaw. Also, technology department has a resource for every parent to utilize, and that is under central office. It has more information about the department, and if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Hi, my name is Brian Puffer. I am the Community Education Director. As you can see on our slide there, we have a couple things I just want to quickly go over. First up there that's a link to our website, and we offer year-round programming for rec and enrichment. And then we also mail home guides 3 times a year. If you live in a school district, you'll receive one. We have our summer guide, our fall guide, and then our winter spring guide. Like Tracy mentioned, the Safety Towel program is one of our most popular programs, and registration for that starts on Monday, It starts March 6th at 7 a.m. And we'll cover topics like pedestrian safety, police, fire, bicycle safety, school bus safety, and water safety. And we have 2 different sessions that run an AM and a PM, and all that information can be found on that website. But it is important to note that that registration does open up. A and B sessions do typically fill fast, so I would encourage you to register early for those programs. We do have summer camps for kindergartners. Most importantly, our Little Dribblers basketball camp is very popular. We have a girls basketball camp, and we do have a tennis camp for them. You'll find those on our website as well. And then also our before and after care and summer camp is very popular as well. So registration for 23-24 school year will begin in about mid-May. We've not set an exact date yet, but keep checking our social media or our website and we'll have that. Our summer camp registration starts April 12th. So that it's coming up quickly. And this is for ages 5 through 12. Again, all this information will be listed on the website. My contact information is at the bottom there as well. So if you have any questions, you can also put them in the Q&A as well. And then the last 2 things I have is just our social media at the bottom. We do post daily, especially on Facebook and Twitter, not so much on Instagram every day, but we'll put, any kind of breaking news that we have, and, if we had to close buildings for weather or whatnot, or new classes that we add, or some information we want to get there quickly. So please do follow us. And then lastly, like I said, on the bottom there, that's my information. So please don't hesitate to email me or call me. And I'll be on here through the rest of the presentation. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. Thank you.
Okay. Are you ready for me? Can you hear me?
All right, Katie, thank you so
There.
much for hopping on.
Okay. My name is Katie Reynolds again, and I have 4 children. One is heading out of Harvest and the last one is heading into Harvest. So I've served on the PTA for a couple of years now, and probably a couple of more, with one just beginning. The Parent Teacher Association is a great way to get involved in your child's school. And if you're not familiar with it, the PTA provides enrichment activities, academic enhancements, and also social events for both teachers and students. Throughout the year, there are several ways for you to be involved and lend a hand, especially with fundraising and volunteering. And we would love your help. So if you're interested, as you can see, there are the president's emails listed on the slide, and you can contact any of them if you're interested in getting involved. And also most of the organizations have a table set up at the beginning of the school year at the open house, so you can get information then as well. And like I said, it's a great way to get involved, and I hope you take advantage in taking this opportunity to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. So I'm Mandy Rucky again. I'm in the district office. I oversee the enrollment. Just a couple more slides. We'll go through how to get your student enrolled into school, and then I believe we'll open it to questions if anyone has any. So just a few things to keep track of. Registration will be opening the week of March 13th. We are working hard behind the scenes with Power School to get that ready for families. So I'm not sure if it'll be open on March 13th exactly, but the week of, keep an eye on the website because registration is 100% online. You can find it at salineschools.org under the registration button. When you get to the registration page, you will see 23-24 registration. You will also see 22-23 registration because we still have families that occasionally will come in for the school year. Currently, please make sure to click on the 23-24. Every year we have some confusion. It's not a big deal, but unfortunately, if you enroll in the wrong year, we are going to have you do it again because there are enough changes where we needed things updated. So just keep in mind when you go to the registration page. Also keep in mind when you are registering, if you currently have a student in the district, Since the 17-18 school year, you should already have an account that you can just sign into to register a new student. Keep in mind also, we always have a few families each year that have come from Ann Arbor schools. They use the same system. That does cause some confusion. So if that is pertains to you, you will have to create a new account with a new email to register for Saline Schools. At the end of the registration process, it is mandatory for families to upload the following documents in order to complete registration. We do ask that you upload a copy of the birth certificate, updated immunization records, 2 proofs of residency. We do require the driver's license to be the first proof. For the second proof, you can use a current utility bill, a lease agreement, warranty deed, tax bill, bank statement, something official tying you to the home. We are also asking this year that if you do submit a lease agreement, we may reach back out to get a current utility bill from you to go with the residency. We also are going to ask that you upload the proof of hearing and vision that Karen Hervey talked about earlier in the presentation. And the following are required only if they pertain to your child and your family. If they have a current IEP from another district, we ask that you upload that as well. Or if you have guardianship or custody papers, it is very important to get those into the system, just because that's very helpful to the schools at registration time to have that on file. As we are processing the registrations, if we find that you need any further information, or there's a problem or questions, we will definitely reach out to contact you so we can follow up to get your student enrolled. Please also keep in mind when you are submitting registration, the system does not allow you to go back in and make changes. Throughout the process, you can save your work and go back in, but once you hit submit, it is submitted to us and you are not able to go back in and make changes. So at that point, you would have to contact us at registration@salineschools.org. We do ask that you make sure that you have everything that is needed for upload even before submitting, and not to put placeholders in to submit it just to get it in, because that will delay the registration, which may prevent us from placing them and letting the building know that there is a new student coming. We also will be following up with families with emails regarding the Young 5 and kindergarten assessments once we have those links and information. And we will also be confirming with families this year that their registration is complete and that they will be sent to the buildings for teacher placement, which, as it was mentioned before, that information will be sent digitally to families approximately a week or so before school starts, letting you know teacher information, the orientation information, supply lists, and all the fun, exciting stuff that everyone looks forward to at the beginning of the school year.
Mandy, a question that came through, is a driver's license required for both parents or just for one parent?
Just for one.
Thank you. And proof of hearing and vision, is that required before the scheduling screening dates?
So if it's been done within the last, I believe Karen said 6 months, and by the appropriate people, you can upload what you have. It is not required. It's not going to prevent you from registering if you don't have it. It is required before the first day of school, however. So if they don't have it now, but they have everything else, they can submit that. And then if they get screened from the health department will provide us the information.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And when is registration due to be completed? Can you just go through that timeline with the registration? I know, like you talked about, like when that's opened. Yep. Can you just go through that again and sort of that timeline one more time?
Yep. So registration right now is scheduled to open the week of March 13th, and then it will remain open throughout the. We're there. I have an awesome coworker that helps me with registration throughout the summer. Where they're all summer processing up to the first weekday, couple days of school. So there's no deadline.
And so you can put that in, you can do all that registration. If hearing and vision, if they can get that in like in August or something, that can just be added in after that part. They have the hearing and vision. If they get that an appointment later on, that can just be as an addition.
Yeah, so families who are going to wait to do the hearing and vision at the assessments, which is highly recommended because they do both hearing and vision in one place. It takes 5-10 minutes. For those families, as long as they have the birth certificate, shots, and the 2 proofs of residency, they can submit because those are the only required fields. And then we will take care of the rest after the health department lets us know about hearing and vision.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
So we are at the end of our presentation, and it looks like there were some questions, as Emily had mentioned about the registration process. You can find our curriculum on the Saline Area Schools website for those of you who are curious about what we teach in the classes. And yes, the presentation will be available when this is recorded on the Saline Area Schools website.
And at this time, if you have any further questions, you can either quickly pop them in the chat, or you can feel free to access any of the principal's contact information that's showcased right here on the screen. And we will be happy to speak further and assist you further with any questions you have in order to make this a smooth transition.
It looks like there's a question about when the Safety Town sign up is again and when the kindergarten assessment dates are.
I can speak to the Safety Town registration. That is on March 6th. It opens up at midnight. If you go to our website, you can click on or the LEO, any of those links that'll take you to it. It will not show up on our LEO site, I should say, until registration opens, so you can't find it. That is one of our flaws of our registration site. But if you click on that second one, it does have all of our Safety Town information.
Thank you.
Yep. And Anna, can you go back to flip back to the slide that has our kindergarten assessments?
And I think it's on slide 6. No, that's Young 5 screening, sorry.
I wrote them down. I can also share. I know that harvest is Monday, July 31st and Tuesday, August 1st. Pleasant Ridge is Tuesday, August 1st and Wednesday, August 2nd. And Wood the Meadows is Monday, July 31st and Wednesday, August 2nd. And they're typically offered 2 times each day from 9 until 12 o'clock noon, and then again from 4 to 7.
And that is actually on slide 9. If you're like me and has to take up your phone memory to take a screenshot of those important dates.
Thank you both. How many students are in each class on average? Are there student teachers that help the main teacher? You know, someone else wanted to take that. I don't want to take up all the airtime.
I think Nick or Stacy or Julie could talk a little bit about current class
I'm
size.
happy to answer that question. I've got my own children yelling in the background. I apologize for that. On average, anywhere from 22 to 25 students in kindergarten, I'd say. Again, Julie and Stacy, you can correct me if that's wrong. And student teachers vary based on university and college and availability and which teachers are willing to take on a student teacher.
Just to add to that, they do have cadet programs at the high school and sometimes connecting students come over. So we may not have a student teacher in a particular year, but there are a lot of high school students that take juniors and seniors that take courses, and they in different trimesters come in and spend, up to 45 minutes in a little session, mornings and afternoons in classrooms, if they happen to be assigned to a kindergarten classroom.
Thank you. Do you have to decide between young 5s and kindergarten prior to completing registration in March?
Mandy, what are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, yeah, I was thinking, I apologize. So we have families in the past, if they're undecided, you can register, if the birthday falls within the August to December window and you're thinking young fives, we recommend registering for young fives and then doing the assessment. And then waiting to get the results from the assessment to see if it's recommended to do young fives or to do kindergarten. And then if it changes, myself or my coworker Sarah Ann can change it on the back end. It's trickier though to go for families if they fall within that window and they're thinking young fives. It's trickier to go from kindergarten to young fives just because young fives may fill up and then there wouldn't be a spot available.
Also, Mandy, if applying as a school of choice student, when will the student be notified if accepted?
So that is a good question. So that information was decided at the board meeting last night. I believe the 30-day window to apply will be April 3rd to May, maybe 2nd. Don't quote me, it's brand new, but they will be notified in May. I don't have the specific date in front of me. I apologize. It was just formalized last night. But there's a 30-day window to apply that opens April 3rd. And then once it closes early May, we do the lottery the following Monday. And then families will be notified and then they'll have to the end of May to register to secure their spot if accepted.
Thank you, Mandy. We are out of town the week of assessments. Are there makeups?
Yes, you can absolutely reach out to one of the building principals to get that scheduled.
And so going back to the Young Five screener, what are the possible outcomes? So if your birthday is between the date, right, of August 1st during through December 1st, the possible outcome is that we would ask your child to enter kindergarten. So that is what we're looking for with the Young Five screener is Young Fives or kindergarten the most appropriate placement? Does anyone want to add to that? All right. My child is starting Young Fives. Does she still have to go to the kindergarten screening?
No. If they're going to Young Fives, then they would not do the kindergarten screening.
Because again, we're looking for the August 1st to December 1st. Those are the students who will be registering for Young Fives. Can my kindergarten student do hearing and screening vision at the Young Five screening if we will be traveling during the week of kindergarten screening?
I'll take that one. Yes. Absolutely.
Are there specific dates for the school of choice lottery application decided yet? And it sounds like Mandy just answered that.
So I'm taking a look at my calendar real quick. So I believe the application will open April 3rd, which is a Monday with a deadline of Tuesday, May 2nd. And I believe it was set to have the lottery on May 8th.
Great. What happens with recess when the weather is bad? So we all fully believe in going outside for recess. We think that that is so important for development. If the weather, if it is raining or it is less than 10 degrees with the wind chill, then students do what we call is indoor recess. So that's where they have activities inside, but we dress for the elements and go outside most days.
If you happen to move in the middle of a school year and your address is not in the same school zone, will my child stay at that school? So for the remainder of the school year, the answer will be yes. And you will then have to transfer into your building in which your boundary school says your child belongs to.
If we already have a student registered in the district, do we still need to provide proof of residency?
Yes, we need current up-to-date residency on every student in their file.
And then Mandy, here's another one for you. Approximately what percentage of students are picked in the lottery?
So they have set the numbers of how many they will accept for a minimum. So if I'm remembering correctly, Young Fives, unfortunately, they're not taking any school of choice this year. Kindergarten, they're taking a minimum of 20, but that's kind of a hard question to answer without knowing how many people are actually going to apply. So if we have 25 people that submit applications, then we're only taking 20, the first 20 that are picked will get the spot. The rest will go on a wait list, but we can always take more than the minimum.
Is there a way to visualize the school boundaries? I think we can find. Or is there a map, a visual map to look at the school area? Rex?
There is not a map. We have a street guide that we use, but if you're looking, you can certainly give us a call and we can help you with that as well.
Right.
At the transportation department, that is.
Do students have lockers or cubbies? Or can they leave snow gear in the said area? Well, 2 out of the 3 buildings, I believe, have lockers. So Woodland Meadows has lockers and Harvest Elementary has lockers, but Pleasant Ridge does not. But we do have a coat room and a storage room located in every classroom. So whether you are at Harvest, all of your belongings will be stored in lockers. In Woodland Meadows will also have all of the students' contents stored in lockers. Pleasant Ridge has coat rooms available for student belongings.
Will a current Young 5 student in the district need to complete the assessment appointment? Yes, if you are on this call because your child is currently in Young 5s and they will be a kindergarten student, we are asking you to sign up for a kindergarten assessment for them as an incoming kindergartner.
And Mandy, where is the street guide located online?
I'm gonna link it right. I'm gonna link that for that person because I can do that right now.
Thank you, Emily.
How long are kindergartners given for lunch, and do they have a snack time? Yes to both. So they have 30 minutes for lunch and there is a snack time. Any of the kindergarten staff like to elaborate on that?
Usually,
Yeah, I was just going to say it's up to the discretion of the classroom teacher. Typically, if we have one of the earlier lunch times, we may have an afternoon snack. Or if we should have one of the later lunch times, we would probably have a morning snack, but absolutely. And I think it's also up to just kind of the conditions regarding like any health concerns or issues, whether it's but if like you could be in a classroom where like you do like a whole group snack, everybody just contributes so we all have the same thing. Or perhaps you could be asked by that classroom teacher to provide your own snack for your child on any given day. Just kind of depends upon that teacher and kind of what works in their classroom. And again, kind of any health considerations we would need to take into account.
Thank you. Mr. DeAndrea, you may know the answer to this. What percentage of students buy lunch versus bring their own? Do you have a scientific answer?
Yeah, it is about 25 to 30% district-wide at the elementary schools. It is higher, so it's probably 50% at the elementary schools that buy lunch, and then the other 50% bring it. It's less at the beginning of the year, so everyone can show off their cool lunch boxes. And then as parents get more tired, the numbers go up.
And on Pizza Friday, Larry, I feel like it's like 70%, right?
Yeah, Pizza Friday and breakfast for lunch on Wednesdays are always
Those syrup days are the best. Are the bathrooms in the actual classroom for Young 5s and kindergarten? The answer is yes.
If a child doesn't meet the criteria for kindergarten, will they be put into Young 5s? The answer is it depends on that August 1st to December 1st date. If the birthday falls within that, And I would say it would go the other way in the sense of we're looking at young fives for that August 1st to December 1st date. And that's great. If we make a recommendation for kindergarten, then that is the way we will go. So again, it depends, really dependent on that August 1st to December 1st birthday.
If we happen to move in the middle of the school year, can we apply for school of choice to keep our student at that school for the following year? If you, the following year are not in the Saline School District, then you can apply if you are within the county. School of choice is with just county piece would be where you would have to fall within the county to apply for school of choice.
Oh, go ahead, Ms. Hughes.
Can you request placement in a class with a friend? What all three principals do most of the time in the month of April, into April, beginning of May, we send out some informative surveys to families in every grade. And at that time, you can feel free to put your request into that document. All three buildings do take a very close look at parents' input. Although we do not make any guarantees, as we work really, really hard to balance our classrooms as it relates to multiple factors. But you do have the opportunity to give us that input, and we do try our best to take a lot of our parents' input into consideration when placing children in different classrooms. You can look for those input forms in our weekly newsletters. Most of the time they're in there by the end of April, beginning of May.
And if you're a first-time family member coming into that, you could also look on our websites. They would be there. What if the screening shows a kid is not ready for kindergarten, but older than the young five window? So I think that that is tricky, that if you're not falling within that August 1st to December 1st, and you're not quite ready for kindergarten, young fives is not an option, but kindergarten, you're not quite ready for kindergarten, then that's when you would be looking at where would a spot be prior to kindergarten. Young fives would not be a choice because young fives is for that August 1st to December 1st. So then it would be, is there another option before coming to kindergarten? Because young fives is not an option. Saline Schools offers young fives for that very specific window. Kindergarten is a spot. And then some families might look outside and look for another space outside of kindergarten, and then maybe are coming to kindergarten in another year. But those are the options that we offer, is young fives for that very small window or kindergarten. And then some families might look at another option outside of those two spaces and then coming to kindergarten at a different time. But those would be the options that we offer for the 23-24 school year, young fives for those birth dates or for kindergarten.
And can we deny kindergarten placement if the assessment suggests that over young fives? It is a team decision. We would talk things out. So that'll be an individual decision that we all make together. So.
What about twins in the same versus different class? So if you are a family that is one of multiples, we always defer to families of incoming kindergartners of what that will look like for that very first year, because we don't know your children. We don't know them as learners. We don't know sort of how they play off of each other for that first year. After we see them for a year and we see how they sort of interact, and we see what the teachers see how that they sort of interact with each other, we might have a little bit more of a say as they move into their next year together, and we might talk a little bit more about that. But as a kindergarteners, if you would like them to be in the same class or you'd like them to be separated, we will take that input and sort of make that decision based on what you decide.
With the SOC lottery, do you historically accept most applicants? Basically want to know what backup plans we need. Thanks. Mandy, can you elaborate a little bit on this one?
Yeah, so every year it's a little different how many spots we have available. So historically, yes, when it comes to like the kindergarten age, we've always been able to accept most applicants or at least offer a spot to them. So not everyone always applies. A lot of families will do school of choice to other districts. But this year with a minimum of 20, there is a good chance, if 25, 30 apply, that a spot would be offered to most of them. But if all of a sudden we had this huge amount of applications coming in and we're pushing 50, 60, 70 like we have in some years, that would be hard to say what the superintendent is thinking with numbers. It all kind of comes down to where the numbers are at the time of the lottery. But with that being said, anyone that he doesn't take the day of the lottery would be put on a wait list, and then he'll watch the numbers over the summer. And if spaces open up, we start reaching out to the families on the wait list in the order they were drawn in the lottery to see if they're still wanting to enroll in Saline schools.
If a family did a Young Fives program outside of the district, would they be able to attend kindergarten the following year? If we see a family, if a kid comes in, or would their age dictate they would have to be in first grade? If they're coming in and they're coming in with a Young Fives, they would come in and then their next year would be in as a kindergartner. We wouldn't say this is your specific age. We would assume that you would be coming in as a first grader. We would want that child to come in and then do a kindergarten year. So.
And Mandy, where do families apply for school of choice?
So it will be linked online starting April 3rd. There will be, it's a K-12 form and everything's done online. So we will have it set up starting April 3rd. So you can go in and apply and submit. And then the deadline, like I said, is May 2nd.
That was a lot of information, and we realized to all 91 of you who are still out there that for each one of you, this is your very specific situation. And so that you are listening with your ears for your child or your children, and that you're thinking about your kid or your children that are coming in. And so reach out to Kenyatta, reach out to me, reach out to Laura, and tell us about who's coming to see us, because we want to know. We want to make sure that this is a really good transition for that. And we want to be able to partner with you and sort of figure out how to help make this be the best that it can be, that we take this really seriously. We love being able to walk, like we said, shoulder to shoulder with you with all of these pieces. And so we work so hard to make this be a really great foundation. We know how important these first couple of years are. And we love being able to do this really important work with you side by side, shoulder to shoulder. So I think we have our emails right here. And so that's how you can get in touch with us. We can help get you the information that we need. In a handful of days, this recording will be here. This slide presentation will be on the Saline Schools website so that you can go back and reference all of these things, but we can also help get any of the information that you need in a jiffy. But thanks for spending the last hour with all of us, and have a great evening. Bye.